All right, good evening, Miss Debbie Fox. All right, what you are seeing right now, Miss Fox, is a video of Bridge Guy. But what I found on this site is different versions of it. And I'll show you, and we'll go through them here real quick. Can you hear me okay? Volume okay? Now let me come out of here. Let me close this. Okay, here is a site, right? Indiana State Police. All right, here's photo, two photos of them, plus the young sketch. The two girls. Here's a photo of them. See, now this photo looks real good. Over here, if you can see my pointer. Real clear, real good. But it won't let me zoom in on this. But if you look down here, you see what it says? Audio downloads. So that is the voice. Here it says video downloads. Now you could download it in Motion Fix MP4, Motion Fix OGY, Motion Fix Webcam, or Motion Fix Wave. So let's click on this. Now here it is, okay? Which we all seen this. You could play it. Let me slow down the playback speed. Now let's zoom in on this full screen. Now you folks can't see it because of the light. Probably. Let me see if I really need to start using StreamYard. It's still going to be blurry for you. I need to start using StreamYard. All right, so let's put this in play. Now he's walking real slow. It does look like he's got something in his jacket. Very, very big, sticking. There's a big bulge right here. Something huge is underneath his jacket. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Watching this, it is so distorted. It looks photo-opped to me. I'm not gonna lie to you folks. It looks like someone edited it and superimposed something on it. There's way too much blotchiness in the video. Debbie, I'm going to send you this link on Facebook Messenger. I'm going to do that for you, I think. After I'm done here. All right, so you could watch this video. It's formatted in many different ways. All right. I just did the webcam. All right, it automatically downloaded that, so I don't want that. Let's try this other one, this MP4. This is supposed to be higher quality. I'm sorry, but it looks like he's got something underneath his jacket pretty big. Playback speed, let's slow it way down. Yeah, he's got something bulged under there. It's something other than a mask. It's something big. and it's moving on its own. No, he couldn't be that stupid to bring a dog out there. That's if that's even a dog. Somebody played with this video. Somebody definitely tampered with the video on the state police, or they might have got the video that way. One video don't one right there looks like a totally different guy. Looks like a dude with a big mustache, a dark mustache. And a winter cap on. You know, one of them stocking caps. And it looks like something in his hair, like either earpiece or a giant hole in his hair or something. I don't know. Now, right there. Oh, man, I keep. Right there, it does sort of look a little bit like Richard Allen. Kind of the same nose, but here's the thing. You start to see that face, and on the side of it is a giant blur. See how you can see the shadow on the outside? You can see his arm, but then there's a dark shadow around it. Okay? Almost like it's a winter jacket or something, a big giant puffy winter jacket, maybe with a stripe down the arm, but it ain't. See, it's too blotchy around the whole thing. Hello, Miss Melly. Great live tonight. A great couple lives. I think you went live a couple times. I'm sorry, but in this video, he's got something bulging out on the right side of him, right up here. If you can see and it goes all the way down his body. Almost, I'm not going to lie to you folks, like a dog. Like a baby pit bull. Possibly. He's got something more than you folks know underneath that jacket on that right side. You can see it bulging completely out. And I'm not talking he had a gun. No, he's got a bunch of shit. Either that's a dog or he's got a bunch of stuff underneath that jacket. Now, I'm going to be honest with you folks. In the beginning of this case, there was rumors that there was stuffed animals around the trees. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie to you people. When this Delphi case first broke, the information that we got from these high chalant YouTubers was there was more than 20 stuffed dolls around the bodies. Small stuffed animal dolls around the body. Let me repeat that to you folks. In the beginning of the Delphi case, there was rumors going around that there was stuffed animals, kid animals, around the bodies. I don't know if that's true, but that is the rumors that were going around in the beginning of the case. And I'm going to tell you what, he's got a bunch of stuff in that jacket, or he's got a pit bull dog in that jacket or something. People are, you can see the gun. I don't see no outlines of any guns in the video I'm looking at. I'm seeing something massive covering his chest, whether it be a backpack, whether it be something. It could be very well a backpack that he put in the front of him and zippered it up. Something giant is in that jacket. And anybody that dude walked in front of or they seen would have said either he had a giant winter jacket on or he was concealing something. How can you not see that? You can see it in plain as day. He's definitely got something underneath his jacket, and it's either sticking its head out or it's some kind of an object or something. I see numerous bulges out of his jacket. Right there, if you ask me, right there, freezing it right there. Does that look somewhat like Richard Allen? And I would say yes. But I can also say that I have four other people that I can put on that bridge that look similar to what we are seeing right now, Richard Allen. So it's a toss up to me. You'd have to do some really good cleaning up on a footage. I'm spectacle of it because I'm seeing a hue. I'm seeing an aura behind Bridge Guy, and that tells me that somebody did something with the photo or the video, whether it be cropped it, photo opted, edited, used AI, whatever they did. You can tell it's not the original footage. Somebody's done something to it. All right, now let's check out the map here real quick because I was looking for a map of the murder scene. And Debbie, I'm going to send you this. I'm going to send you this Indiana State Police thing. There, I was looking for a map, and I thought they had a map here of the crime scene. Let me see. See, I wish they would let me. It won't zoom in on this photo. This is a beautiful still photo. You don't see too much anything going on with it, no blurriness. But I can't pull it up. Well, let me pull it up. All right, let me look. That right there kind of looks like him, possibly. This guy all the way on the end don't look nothing like Richard Allen. It looks like he's got a giant mustache, goatee. I'm not saying it's not Richard Allen, but and if you notice, everyone's saying, well, he must have a giant. That does look like a fanny pack to me, or some kind of a something, a backpack or something under his jacket. Maybe it's sticking out so far. But hold on, I'm looking for a map. All right. Can you guys see this map? Debbie, can you see this map pretty good? Hello, Mr. Aquarius. All right. If you notice, the bridge runs northwest to southeast. Okay. You see the cemetery? The cemetery is pointing directly north and south. Now, I really want to find a satellite photo. So hold on a minute. All right, let's see if I can't play this. All right. God dang it. All right, now there's the bridge, right? So he walks in right there by that building. Now, is this going to let me stop it? Yeah, so let's rewind it. All right, so, oh, this is pissing me off. How do I get rid of this crap? Let me slow the speed down. Oh, what a sad dumb wage to build. All right, there's the bridge. He parks right here by this building. He walks all the way in across that big bridge that you folks see and makes his way down to the railroad station or railroad tracks. Let's see what else I got on her. All right, there's the I gotta find a different video. This is pissing me. Excuse my language. Excuse my language. Hold on a minute. Excuse me.
As I'm in the midst of applying for residency. And we are following breaking news here at 6 o'clock. The Delphi murders trial. The jury has now seen the graphic pictures of this scene where police found the bodies of Abby Williams and Libby German. Let's get right to Kyla Russell. She's live at the Carroll County Courthouse. And Kyla, let's start with those images. And before you tell us about them, we want to make sure that everyone at home knows this is incredible.
It's pretty gruesome. Abby was clothed, but notably did not have all of her own clothes on. Now, branches had been placed directly on their bodies, and from my...
Okay, so he comes in there. He walks across this bridge. He heads to the other bridge, right?
my observation, there were about 3 main branches placed on Libby in some sort of triangular formation. Now, there were another 3 on Abby, but in less of sort of a deliberate formation. There was also at least 4 blood stains surrounding the girls and on a nearby tree. And I'll note that we learned today that those branches that were found there were never taken for DNA testing and were only collected in March, 3 weeks after their deaths.
Wow, 3 weeks afterwards, they collected the branches. Interesting.
Now, inside of the courtroom, much of Libby's family was pretty distraught. I heard quite a bit of crying, and also it was actually found with a blue light. One of the investigators said that he looked down at the leaves and he saw sort of this glistening, or glittering is the word he used. He moved those leaves, he used a blue light, and that's when he found a cartridge. But also we didn't actually see many photos of the actual bullet or of it being moved, and investigators say it was pointed down when it was found. So that gives you a little bit of an idea of how much they're really...
Well, here's my question. Why did they say the bullet was found underneath the girl's shoe, which the phone was underneath her shoe, and the bullet was underneath the phone, or the gym shoe? So that all must have been lies that they were pumping out, because they didn't find the bullet until a couple days later. So how do they know if it was directly underneath the girl's foot or where the phone was? They didn't find the bullet that day, and they moved the girls' bodies. Then they found the bullet.
focusing on this unspent bullet.
Well, one last question for you, Kyla. There appears to be a theme developing in the defense cross-examination of...
All right, I'm still on the quest for a satellite. I'm just going to go Delphi and bingo. We got it. Here we go. All right. Now we are talking, people. All right. Let's find Delphi Bridge, which it should be right there. All right. Can you guys see? Okay, here's the Freedom Bridge, Delphi, Indiana. Up here is where he parked, right up here. He walks all this way, comes all the way down. Mind you, here's the road where somebody said, right? The cemetery right here. Someone said they seen him walking down the road, which very well may be. because we got so many witnesses. It's not funny. All right, so he comes walking down here. He walks in this way. Mind you, there's a camera right here at this building right here. And I do believe they said there was a camera over here at this building. Right? So he walks in here. Here's the bridge right here. So let's zoom in on that. He comes down the trail. Now, mind you, this is what I think. He came in. The girls get dropped off here. Right? This is the road where the girls got dropped off. They got dropped off right here. This path that leads in. That's where the sister supposedly dropped them off. They walked in. That's where all the girls were. There was 20 to 30 girls there that night. Or that day. So the girls start walking down the bridge. They head out and they start walking this way towards the bridge. Right? Now, if you zoom in here, there's the bridge. The girls were found right over here. You also zoom in, you can see there's another trail that runs through there. It's a dark line. You guys might not be able to see it. But there's a trail that runs through there. There's also a creek that runs north to south. And it runs into this river here, Dare Creek. So you can actually get to that trail from where? From right here. Right before the bridge here, there was a trail that went around here. You can also see the remnants of another trail right here, a line coming down that went right here. You can also see a trail that comes right here, dark line, it goes up. What's it do? This is right where the girls were killed, right here. That trail keeps going, it hooks right up around here, and it comes out where? The cemetery. You can see it clear as day. You can see the trail coming around, and it hooks right there, comes around this way, right to there. So how do you walk? How do you get in? I don't know. You got too many people reporting muddy, bloody people in too many different areas, folks. You got someone, they said they seen them up here. We got other witnesses that seen them on 300. Where? By the cemetery, walking this way. So there's only one thing. Someone's lying, or he came in one way. He came in from over here, walked all the way down. Whether the girls, we don't know if the police flipped that video. He could have been coming out of there as the girls were coming in. He's seen his opportunity. He took it. They might not even have crossed the river. He might have got them before they even crossed the bridge, took that trail around, killed them. We know he undressed them. He could have walked right down to the river and got the clothes wet to make it look like they crossed the river, but they never did. That would explain the sighting of somebody walking down 300 with a backpack all muddy and wet. Or bloody and wet. So we got witnesses of people coming in there, more than one man, walk in there, walking on that trail. We got witnesses of someone walking down 300. All right. So what do I think? One guy? Sure. One guy walks down here, comes across the bridge, kidnaps them, makes them walk themselves. He don't have to carry no bodies because he hasn't killed no one yet. He's threatening them. They're doing what he says. He ain't spending no energy by trying to carry them. If they did cross the creek, okay, they crossed the creek. He crosses the creek, he kills them. And what does he do? He knows that area. He takes that trail right out of the cemetery, walks on 300. Because why? Because he knows dang well there's people on that trail. He's already passed them as he was walking. He knows there'll be people that see him. So he books out this way. Comes down 300. What does he do? He remembers that there's a camera there. He remembers that there's a camera at the building. What does he do? He jumps back on the path where the girls were dropped off. And that would explain, he jumps back on the trail, starts walking out of there. And they have more reports of a guy. Then they had Flannel Guy. You remember Flannel Guy? You had Flannel Guy. You had the guy that was dressed all in black. It's too risky. If he was military, he should have known. Too risky to walk in and walk out the same way you went in. Too risky. Too risky for someone to see you. He might have took that road. He might have walked that road because I think there was other witnesses that stated they did see someone on that road, either walking or riding a bike, and they had a backpack or something. And they said he was muddy or bloody or whatever. So if you ain't got one guy that came in through the bridge and he walked out through the cemetery, if it ain't one guy, then ladies and gentlemen, that's proof there was more than one person there. Right? He can't be at two spots at the same time. Impossible. There's a camera right here. We're looking at it. There's the camera right at the edge of this building. Right there. Right at the corner of that building is the camera. And he knew that. Why? Because he knows that place like the back of his hand. So he didn't want to walk past that camera because he knew dang well that camera would pick him up. So he came back onto the trail to cover his tracks, but it was stupid of him. Anybody would have known never go in the same place and come out the same place. Too risky. At least not with the same clothes. And that big giant bulge in his jacket might be full of clothes. He might have planned this. Waiting. He wasn't sure if today was the day. If it wasn't Abby and Libby. And here's my thing is they were targeted. And people ask me, well, why do you think that? Well, because there was 4 other women there before Abby and Libby. If he wanted to kill, he would have chose the other girls other than Abby and Libby. So something ain't adding up in this case, not at all. To me, it's not. You got too many witnesses. You got way too many witnesses that are putting guys in places where they can't be all at once. Not unless the same guy cannot be at these places at the same time. The only other explanation is there was someone else there. Now, what other option do we have? Richard Allen or whoever bridge guy is came in through the bridge, kidnaps the girls right here at the bridge. Okay? Walks them down. And the only other option I can think of is someone was waiting and parked here at the cemetery where you see, and all they had to do was walk right down this horseshoe or boomerang trail, and you can see my mouse following all the way around, folks. And there was people sitting here waiting for the sheepdog to lead the sheep to the kill zone. That's the only other explanation. Either there was other people there, or it was one man, and he did walk out through the cemetery because he knew there was people on, and he was bloody. And that road there is not traveled that much at all, folks. It is a low travel road. There's not a lot of traffic on that road, and he might have known that. That's why he dipped out onto the road, trying to dodge the other 3 or 4 girls that were out there. Right? You remember the beginning of this case, dog lady. There was a lady out there walking a dog. There also was a guy out there walking a dog. It makes sense to me. I mean, how do you explain this bridge guy being on the bridge, being on this road, walking out of there, and other people seeing him? But we got witnesses of bridge guy or someone walking on 300 right there. Plain as day. There's the trail right there. You can see it clear as day. See it now? Debbie, can you see it? Aquarius? It might not even be a trail. It's just an opening. It's just a clearing of trees, whether it be for power line, whether it be for DNR. But it leads right from the corner of the cemetery road directly out, and then it starts hooking around. And if we go down a little farther, you see it. Here it comes. You could split off. It looks like it splits off here, or you could take it straight down to where the creek. To me, it looks like it hooks around here and comes back this way. That's what it looks like to me. An old trail that was there a long time ago. And people stopped using it when they put the new trail in. And stuff grew over the trail. Trees, bushes, grass, weeds. But I remember seeing a video and someone talking about you can get to where the girls were without crossing the creek. And that was in the beginning of the Delphi case, like a year into the Delphi case. You got to explain all these dudes. There's 5 sketches out there. Not one of them look alike. You got to explain these dudes. Hey, I'm not saying Richard Allen's the killer. I'm not saying he isn't. Could one man do this? Yes, he sure could have. And I can tell you right now, from my profile of this sicko, if they did not find the girls the next day, they had plans for the girls. I do believe they wanted to have their way. I'm not convinced that the girls weren't SA. By law in Indiana, if he made them girls take their clothes off, it was SA, sexual assault, even if he didn't penetrate them. But there's other ways to rape someone and not leave any DNA. We've proven that before. There has been millions of people that have been killed way before DNA evidence ever came out. Back then, they didn't call it DNA. They just called it hair follicles or whatever. This is where you resort back to old-fashioned investigating. Folks, they solved crimes before they came up with science and DNA. You can, I don't need a DNA kit to put someone at the crime scene. If you got a hair strand of somebody and you have a good idea of maybe a suspect, all you have to do is pluck a hair. You don't need a root. These people are nuts. Either this is the biggest cover-up in the world, or these people are nuts, and they should not be sitting in power. You do not need a root for DNA or to figure out a case. Everybody has a growth pattern in their hair. You can solve a case with a strand of hair without root, without DNA, by growth patterns and the color of the hair and the strand and the structure. It's called growth rings. It's just like a tree. All they had to do was pluck the hair from a couple of these guys that they thought and put the hair underneath a microscope, and the growth patterns would have been the same, proving that that was the culprit, because nobody has the same growth rate or growth rings in your hair. Each individual has their own growth ring, and you can actually track it, and you can actually solve crimes with it. So these people are lying. They could have, all they needed was a microscope, and they could have matched up the growth rings. They could have done it with the girls. They could do it with the families. This is something a police officer can see underneath a microscope. If you don't believe me, look up hair growth. Hair under microscopes, and they'll show you a growth ring. They can tell you when you were doing drugs. You were doing drugs last year. How do you know that? Your hair growth. It was in your hair growth. They can tell sicknesses in your growth rings in your hair. This whole thing, that's what they used before DNA. I don't know what they're, I don't know who's running the show. I'm already getting attacked by some demonic thing or something. I don't know what it is. Could barely breathe. So I don't know what to tell these people. It's FUBAR. No, I watched videos of them saying that Johns and the other guy were told to go help try and find the girls. The first place they went was the cemetery. They searched all this area back here. They searched the cemetery. They searched back here. Then they got in their cars and repeat. We have this all documented. What did they do? They drove 100 feet away to whose house? Ron Logan's. This was before the girls were even found. The report just went out that the girls were missing. These two guys that knew Mike Patty, the grandparents of one of the girls, they go and help. First place they go to is the cemetery. They go into the woods there. They start checking everything. They don't see nothing. They go over to Ron Logan's house and knock on his door, ask him if they've seen anything, heard anything. There's girls missing. Ron Logan says, I haven't seen nothing. And that was before the girls were even found. I think Ron Logan said he even started walking around his yard looking for the girls or walking back in the woods. For all we know, these dudes could have been real sickos and had this all planned. Whoever was on that bridge could have been Fall Guy. All they needed was a photo, and then they edited the rest of it. They needed somebody. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I'm not saying that's what happened, but it's possible they needed somebody. For all we know, if it was Richard Allen, he didn't even know he was being videotaped. For all we know, they already had control of the girl and they were waiting for the killer to come. Or he was the sheepdog that led the girls to their demise. He might not have killed them. There might have been people behind the cemetery waiting. We don't know. These girls have been to this area numerous times. Everyone keeps saying there's a dead end. They couldn't get out. No, they could have got right out of there. They knew this area. They could have crossed the creek. They could have ran. One of the girls lived right up here. That's the girl's house right there. That's the girl's house right there. They knew this whole area. They've been out there before. And it wasn't no dead end. Because they could have ran right through here. Here's the bridge. They could have kept going straight and it would have ran right into. They could have came off of that hill, got on the driveway. This road goes all the way around. Actually, it's a road. They had people here. They had people here. They could have ran to a house. They could have screamed. Here's the kicker. Not one of these girls screamed. And I'm telling you, I don't care what anyone said. He must have had them gagged. He must have had them gagged. Because you're telling me a 13-year-old girl watching her best friend get killed and she's just not going to say anything? Bullshit. She ain't going to scream. Excuse my language. Bull crap. Bull crap. Bull crap. As soon as she figured out that guy meant business and hurt Abby or Libby, the other one would have screamed. or took off running. I just can't buy this whole thing. I really can't. I just can't buy it. I mean, he had to come prepared. Well, explain to that giant bulge in his front jacket. Either that's a dog or it's a giant backpack or a kill kit. Or a kill kit. For one, he's an idiot. If he walked in and walked out the same exact way across the bridge, he walked in on the bridge, walked out, uh, idiot. Idiot. And you don't want them kind of idiots in our military. Not even platoon. A platoon would do something like that. A military guy, you're going to do something like that, and you're going to walk right in there. You know there's people there. You know you're going to be bloody or muddy or whatever, or show signs of something. There's a good chance that somebody's looking for the girls already, and you're going to walk right out of there in front of everybody else. Idiot. Complete idiot. Oh, it is, Debbie. I'll send you the video here after I'm done. And you could play the video. You can see it plain as day. Plain as day. He's got something giant in his front jacket. And it does kind of look like a dog, but I don't know. I know this much. Either these people are using demonic spirits to try and keep people's mouths shut. We're praying for it. You people don't understand how much I'm praying I'm praying that they come out and say this stuff's real. I'm like, oh, we're gonna eat some shit. We're gonna tear some shit up. And we're not going to do it the old way. Everything, I was listening to a couple mafiosos. They were worried about us bombing everything and blowing the hell out. Nah, I'm too old to rebuild the effing buildings that you people live in. My family, we worked too hard to build the bridges and road. We ain't going to blow the shit up. No, it costs too much money to rebuild America that way. We'll do it a different way, but we ain't going to do it that way. I can tell you this much. I ain't spending the money to rebuild it. I know that. Something is not adding up in this case from the word go. Too many suspects, too many dudes put themselves there. If these dudes are not idiots, they're madmen. You never want to put yourself at a place of something of a double murder of two 13-year-old girls. Are you effing kidding? Are you nuts? Even if you were innocent, you got to be half crazy to even put yourself there, especially with the history that these guys had. Some of these guys are already behind bars. People can't believe they can't connect Lafayette and Delphi together. Lafayette's 10, 20 minutes away, not even. And they still can't fathom that it's, that's in Lafayette. Yeah, 10 minutes away. 20 if you're riding on a bicycle, you idiots. Complete effing idiots. If I got to pay another one of these investigators $100,000 a year and they can't figure out a case and they're losing shit, you're spending my money. And I don't like when I lose money. And my associates don't like losing money. $1.4 million. And you can't even send hair to get tested. You haven't even tested here yet. You best have my 1.4 million. Do you understand, people, that they don't even cops were killed over this? Do you understand, folks? I don't think these people realize what kind of situation these Delphiers got people into or got themselves into, but people died. Police died. Many people have died other than Abby and Libby. You got a lot of explaining to do down there, and I want my taxpayer money back at 1.4 mil. Good God almighty, don't any of you people have a microscope down there? That's all they needed. They don't have to use all this brand new DNA stuff, liquidify everything down, heat it all up and get it all in, put it in little tubes. And all they needed was a microscope. That was it. And I'll probably die before this case is solved. How in the heck do you not do 7 years? I'm sorry, I've done all I can, man. The big dogs want a crater in Delphi. They're talking Mason shit, this Illuminati shit, witch shit, all kinds of shit. They're like, this is jeopardizing my country. And listen, I'm a small dog on the chain. And they want a crater in that town, that whole area down there. And I don't blame them. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't blame them. I don't blame them one bit. And that's no shit. They want to make sure that these people get a message sent. They want to make sure these people listen down there, and these politicians and everything. Ain't nothing I can do. This is the big dogs, man. You're talking politicians. You're talking Homeland Security. You're talking Pentagon and shit are coming in. Why? Because he's a military effing guy. One of their machines went crazy again. Numerous ways out there. Numerous ways to get off of that trail, to get out of there. He knew they were stuck. Once he got them where he wanted them, he might have just been the deliverer. These people got such small minds. They're one guy, and I told him, you're screwed. You lost the case. If you went in there thinking it was one guy, you're an idiot. Anything's possible. There could have been numerous people there, 10, 20, 30 people. There could have been 30 people there, but not kids, like Kelsey said. 30 people that slaughtered or sacrificed these girls. Yes, one cop unlived himself, supposedly, and another one was shot by another cop. It's a war within the police. Right? Am I going to do anything? I ain't doing nothing. You kidding me? I ain't going to prison for these pricks. Losing everything I got. I ain't losing my house again. My cars, my race cars, my 2 dogs. You know, I'm not losing everything I got again. I ain't doing nothing. I don't get paid $100,000 a year to solve cases. I do it out of the kindness of my heart. And I hope if my children ended up dead, that somebody would investigate. If I ended up dead, I would hope somebody would look into it. And that's why your country, the United States of America, has so many crazy madmen and women in it. Well, there's that private driveway. They could have came off of the requiring mines. They could have ran right off of that ridge, right onto that driveway, and ran right to that house. That's the Weber's house. Supposedly, there's a house right here. Oh, I'm on the wrong clicker. Hold on. There is a house right here, a cabin, right down here. I just clicked on it. There's a cabin right over here. It might be right here. All I know is there used to be a cabin over here somewhere. Was it right here? It might have been this square thing here. All I know is there was a cabin, somebody said, that was out here in the woods behind the cemetery. Now, where did that go? I have no idea. If you notice, they tore down most of the shacks around there. Now, everyone's asking, well, if they didn't cross the creek, which I don't consider that a creek. A creek is something you can step over. You could jump over. That's a running small creek. That's a river. That's not a creek to me. That's a river. You could drown in that. But people say I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm an idiot. Take your medicine, whatever. There's also a river runoff that runs right down here. Do you see it, folks? Can you see that? That dark line, that valley that runs down. Also looks like there's a trail that comes through here. Now, could they, because it's runoff, that's all sloped area, it's runoff. And when you get a lot of rain and everything, the water's got to go somewhere. Where does it go? It goes down into the river. So there's little ravines within this geological landscape here. Okay? So they might not even went across the river. They might have just crossed one of these small creeks that the water was running off because the snow melted, because the day before we had record highs out here of 50 something degrees. But then it did get cold that night again. We had a cold front coming. I don't know. You got to explain all these guys to me. He can't be on the bridge and he can't be on 300 at the same time. I'm sorry. It defies physics. Now, either we got more than one killer or we got witnesses that are lying. That's all I can say. There's numerous ravines that run off. As you guys can see right behind, here's the cemetery. Looks like two giant valleys that come down there or something. And it leads right into the creek right here. So if they were on this trail and walked around, it's possible they got wet that way. The girls were found right here off of this trail that came down. That came down from the cemetery. And it makes sense. Would he walk out that way? Well, sure. If he knew that area, knew the cemetery was there and that trail was right there. Why cross the river again, get soaking wet? It's February. And then he already knows there's people on the trail. He possibly could be spotted. For all I know, he walked out of the cemetery, walked right down 300, jumped back on the trail, walked the rest of the way that he came in out, or came in on. He's out of there. I don't know. All right. Anyone else got? I feel that somebody else was at the bottom waiting for the three of them. So it's now was two defenseless. Well, here's the thing: the girls didn't fight at all. No, no. It's almost like they just sat there and let them do whatever. And I'm not buying that. I am just not buying no 13-year-old girl scared out of her head, just sitting there waiting for death. I'm sure she would have fought somehow. I'm sure one of them would have screamed once they seen the other one being murdered. I'm not buying no 13-year-old girls just sat there and said, okay, kill me. It just ain't working that way. I ain't buying it. I'm sorry. I just ain't buying it. Not two 13-year-old boys I can see not screaming. Right? But two 13-year-old girls, as soon as they felt endangered or threatened, they either would have ran their butts off, and them two girls were in softball. I'm sure they would have been able to outrun Richard Allen. Libby and Abby were softball players and young ladies that were into sports. But they were off of the bridge, and bridge guy wasn't even halfway across the bridge. They could have ran. They could have screamed. They could have dialed 911. They could have called their family. They could have done numerous things. I'm on the phone with my mother and father, and they're on their way, and you're on camera. You better get away from us. We are not hearing none of that. We are not hearing that, folks. We are hearing two girls that feel too comfortable to where they almost like they knew who it was. Almost like they were there meeting somebody. I don't know. I don't know. It's too many sleepless nights thinking about this stupid case. I've had enough. I'm right about it. What am I right about, Deb? So I can write this down, because you usually don't say I'm right. So when you do, I want to mark it down as a special day. This is a special day. How do you explain all these people, these 3-4 witnesses, seeing people in different areas at the same time? It don't make sense. The only evidence I can point to is either he was real smart and had this all planned. He's seen his opportunity and took it. And I don't think it's even that, because he had an opportunity before Abby and Libby showed up there. And I'm almost thinking he showed up there before the girls, or the time, somewhere the times, or he showed up right after the girls got there. Or maybe he was told to go there. How do you explain Keegan Klein saying that him and his dad were there? in the Jeep. Yeah, Keegan Kline saying that he was with his dad there. Did Keegan Kline call Richard Allen, say we got a problem? Did he call Chadwell or the rest of the crew and say we got a problem? These girls ain't cooperating. They're not giving us the photos we need. Or wait a minute. Whoa, they're related to Derek German or whatever, right? The people that supposedly were rats. Did Keegan Kline know that? Was this a revenge kill? Did they lure the girls for the simple reason to get revenge on Derek ratting on the drug cartel down there or whatever, the meth or whoever it was? Well, from what the witnesses are saying and coming out of the courtroom, one of the girls had drag marks all on her back, like if she was dragged. Right? But then you got other people saying that there was no drag mark. She died right where she was killed and she fell over and, you know. And this is what the problem is when you don't see autopsy photos, when you don't see crime scene photos. Folks, I'm going to be honest with you. It might not have went down like what we've been told. All the way down to the crime scene photos are fake. And this is what happens when we have a country that was built by the people. It's the people's money, the civilians. And it's used with politics and all this madness. I think I would have voted to spend the 10 grand to have a professional come in and do the autopsy and look at all. I think I would have spent 50 grand if I had to get the proper autopsy done and the voice analyzed and the video analyzed. You had 1.4 million that you spent already. 50 grand I would have spent on the big dogs. I would have got a hold of the dudes if they were still alive from that one case, Dr. Fuji, whatever his name was. I don't know, from Japan or whatever. Dissect the whole case, tell you exactly what happened, how it happened. We don't know. We're not even seeing photographs of the ground around that area. Footprints. Was there any four-wheeler marks out there? Was there any footprints? It was muddy. There had to be footprints. Had to be footprints. There had to be some kind of moisture print in the ground. Are you kidding me? Come on, we're not seeing that. So now we have no idea. We don't know what happened. And when this country is built by the people, with the people's money, the civilians, we have the right to go and have a camera in a courtroom. Now, what would I do? I would get a hold of Supreme Court and say, you're going to have to take this over. Right? We got to see this. We need to see the evidence. This needs to be investigated properly with professionals. So you had to spend 50 grand on a couple specialists, professional forensic dudes that have done hundreds and hundreds of cases. I think I would have spent the 50 grand. Would anyone else? spent the 50 grand. I think I would have spent the money first on the professionals. That would have gave the I would have gave the professionals the case and said, here, read this data for me that's off of these phones. Tell me exactly what it is. Professionals. Right? Read me this autopsy report. I want this guy to do an autopsy. This guy's a professional autopsy, forensic autopsy guy. Done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. He wants 20 grand. Bingo, give it to him. How long will it take to get the evidence we need? Right? When you already blew 1.4 million and you ain't got no test done or nothing. Sweetie, I'm gonna tell you like we told Scarface. Right? Tony Montana. You got the whole world watching you through a camera. It's hard for me to get you off of this one, sweetie. When you got millions and millions of people watching you. Right? It's just like the Tony Montana movie. We got your asses. Now the big dogs are just wondering. And I'm talking these people, state police, you ain't shit. You mess with the Federal Bureau of Investigation or Homeland Security, they'll call in military. You're going to get your ass stomped. I hope you little police got your own jets and tanks and all kinds of shit out there. Nukes and all kinds of biological crap, because you push the wrong button with the government, the higher ups, and you best listen to the federal you should listen to the Italian mafia. You mess around with these dudes and they'll drop bombs on your asses. They don't give a shit. They'll wipe this country clean and start over with a bunch of robots. That's no joke, man. They think I would listen to some of them mafiosos. They ain't playing joke. I know. I heard Mr. Gravano say, you mess around with these dudes. They don't mess around. They just drop bombs and shit. Your house just poof, gone. Your neighborhood gone. And he ain't lying. He ain't lying. I don't know. I'm just throwing a little bit of acting in there with this. A little bit of drama, a little bit of that. And I shouldn't be. But I'm telling you, that's how these people think. Right? You're going to try and overthrow the government with a couple police officers and a cannon out in front of the courthouse that's filled with concrete. JLR is making it sound like JLR made it sound like there's a fortress down there. I'm like, no, I got 3 of them cannons in my town. They're useless. The barrels have been filled with concrete. And the only way you're going to get anything to shoot out of them cannons is if you chisel out all the concrete, which will probably take you, I don't know how long. And then you got to rebore it and rifle it. I hope you got that kind of machinery. It's useless. All right, let me see what's going up. Really, it is. Reel it in, Johnny. Magnificent Higginbottom's trying to tell me when to reel it in. I'm a reeling in the ears. Are you kidding me? I wanted to call Skunk Baxter in on this. Hire schlance up. Elon Musk. They're telling me, shut up. Are you nuts? No, I'm not nuts. We've had enough of this madness. Our country's going down the tubes. They spent 7 years, $1.4 million. And they don't even know who it is, what it is, or where it is. They have no idea. You got a bunch of dead people down there. And a bunch of people screaming about crews on the internets. They belong to a gang, a club. You got the family that's all messed up and riding Harleys, and everybody's doing drugs. Everybody's snorting shit more than Capone himself. You got madness going on. And no one knows nothing. Not a dang thing. No one knows a dang thing. Ain't making sense. It didn't make sense in the beginning of this case. It ain't making sense now. I don't think it'll ever make sense. I don't think they ever care if it makes sense. I have no idea. I really don't care. There's nothing I can do anymore. My hands are tied. There's a chain of command in this country. These people don't understand it. There's nothing I can do. I need some more tea. These people are, well, he was in the military. If I hear one more time, that Richard Allen couldn't have done this murder because he was in the military, I think I'm going to pull my own hair out. I can line you up an ocean and a river of people that are crazier than coon shit. Massive killers and all military. So we're done using that excuse. Show some lenience. He served for his country. Come on, man. Come on. So did my family, but they're not out slaughtering people. So did all my friends and family and everything. But they ain't out killing young 13-year-old girls or killing them or trafficking them or whatever. Come on. Come on. Here's what it is. They're getting close to the end of their life. And you know what? They don't care if they kill millions with them. They don't care if they kill millions with them. If they're going to die, everyone else is going to die. That's the way they look at it. But I agree with a lot of people. I think there was other people there waiting, or they took him somewhere. I mean, he only lived a couple minutes away. Is it possible he kidnapped him, took him to a car, drove him to the house, did something, whatever, and then came back? His wife wasn't at home. It's possible. Oh, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm done with this. Folks, make sure you check out Google Maps and Channel 13, Channel 8, all Indiana channels. Yeah, I'm having some tea right now myself. Oh, God, save me. Take my addictions from me. Now I sound like a rock star, Kurt Cobain, right? Ending letter. Right? I'll give you everything, Lord. All my guitars, my money, everything, if you just heal me of this addiction. I'm losing hope in everything. I sit here and I watch these people cry out for help and begging, begging God. They have nothing else. They have nothing else, so they turn towards God. And you watch them. I was reading that letter from Kurt Cobain, man. I almost broke down in tears. Here's a guy that's saying he'll walk away from everything, all the money, everything, the fame, everything, if he could just kick heroin. I feel that way about cigarettes. But I ain't rich and I ain't got nothing to give away. Well, surely I would give it away when Jesus comes and he says, "You want to be healed? Or do you want that instead? I'll take that. It's $1 million. Take it. I'd rather be healed by God Almighty." I do believe we are living in times of end times. I do believe Satan is on earth, spiritually, physically, mentally, and his time's coming to an end. And I'm just wondering, when his time does come to an end, is he going to take all of us with it in a big giant fireball? Because his time's up, he might as well take everyone with him. I don't know. I can only hope to God Almighty, the King of Kings. At that time, the Lord takes us off of the earth, and then after it's over, puts us right back on and says, "Get back to living." I'm going to have one more cup of tea and I'm going to go to bed myself. YouTube was a good thing for me when I had my disability and didn't have anybody. YouTube and music was good for me. But now that I'm not on any medication and I've been watching all this madness, it's not good for me. I need a break and I need things that make me feel good, put me at my mental stage where I have to be. Winter is coming. I got to hunker down. Winter is tough for us people that are not rich. Now, am I going to do anything to anybody? No. I'm just a movie creator, a YouTube creator, whatever. I'm dumb, but I ain't that dumb. If you hurt somebody and they prove it, you're going to do your time. I've hurt nobody but myself with the words that I've spoken. Right? I'm tearing myself down. I don't need no help. No, all you ladies have a great night. It still is, Johnny. We love your channel. Stick to show that makes you feel good. Yeah, stick to stuff that makes you feel good or everything. I just feel you get confused, you get angry, you want to do something, but you can't do something. You know who the culprits are, but if you go out and get revenge, you're going to end up dead or possibly in prison. Then what good will you do? Your children, family, or whatever. You want to help, but you ain't got the money, right? You ain't got the money. You want to help, but you ain't got the money. There's so much stuff we want to do. You're all great people. but we ain't got the money. We got to make sure people in other countries are eating well or whatever, you know. And now we need the money, and now we ain't got it. All right, you're all great people. Have a great night. God bless. We'll see you next video. All I can say is things are not adding up in this case. It didn't add up in the Summer Wells case. It didn't add up in. We're starting to see in a lot of these cases. And what are we seeing? We might be seeing exactly what these folks tell you folks every single day. Don't believe in conspiracies. Well, ladies and gentlemen, they just smacked you in the face with it. And that's why I told you always believe that conspiracies are real. Maybe in 100 years we'll find out who did the Delphi case. I don't know. Yes, have a great night. Thank you, Aquarius Minds wants to know. Folks, check out her channel. Check out Debbie Fox channel. Check out Miss Melly's channel. Check out Miss ATS News, Alex Erickson, Alyssa Jade, Miss Criminality, Miss Cold Truth, Dave Levine, Steve from Boston, Glenn with Spectrum Studio, and Brad's the Guitarologist channel. All these great channels. Have a great night. Be safe. God bless, and we'll continue again tomorrow on the Delphi case and try and figure out what exactly is going on. If only they had a microscope, and if they would have collected hair from these guys or these women around, all they had to do was put it under a microscope and they would have seen it was a match. Is it the same color? Sure is. What about the growth rings? It's a perfect match. Bingo. But I don't know. God bless America, because not one hair. You don't have one hair that grows. When your hair grows, it all grows at the same time. So your whole head is a pattern of growth rings, your hair. I got to do everything in this country. It's costing me a fortune. And I'm poor. Listen, I don't get it. You folks have a great day. God bless. See you later.